Hi everyone, this is just going to be a bitmap for CityCat since it's been a while, and Happy New Year and all that. Hope you had a good one and you're planning your 2026 well. So my 2026 looks a bit like this, CityCat and a kind of blood sport spin-off called Kumite, which just sort of came out of the blue. And I'm also working on a little fun side project with my team, which I won't say much of, and maybe a couple other things that I'll do as well. There's a platformer game that I want to make that's a bit like Zyron's Escape. If anyone's ever played that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, basically, it's going to be a busy year. So yeah, this is just me planning out a new scene for CityCat, which I won't tell you how you get there or anything like that. Bit of a little bit of a puzzle to solve to get to this location, and yeah, it's quite fun getting back into CityCat. I'm enjoying that side of stuff. Everything else has been quite busy with work things. I've been working on a project, another side project for over a year now, which is it's kind of complete, more or less complete. So we'll put that aside, and now we can do some other stuff. We'll put that aside because we need to sort of wait for. Hard to explain. We just need to wait for something to happen before we can do any more with that. So that's been put aside, and yeah, I'll go back to it when the time is right. It's a big if, and if not, we'll do something with it when the time is right. If we're not busy with the success of everything else, right? It's kind of how it goes. I'm hoping that these games do well, but I'm right into making big and small games for the new Commodore 64 Ultimate and just Commodore games in general. I'll work with the Mega Style guys. They're a kind of like Commodore 64 scene. They do like demo scene and they do their own games. I've worked on a couple of games with them, and I look forward to doing more of those projects. So I'm just so focused on like my own projects this time round, because I always find that like I stop and start them too much, that I never really get anything done. So yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing home some new stuff. So as you can see, I'm using this isometric style. It's kind of a lower angle from your usual isometric. I really like this one because you see a bit more of the walls essentially. Also means your sprites can be more profile instead of trying to be top downish, which is I find quite hard to do at a 45-degree isometric angle. So this is more of a, I think it's 22.5 degrees or something like that. It works out, whatever way you want to call it, or 4:1 isometric ratio. It's basically 4 pixels across by 1 high. So yeah, I'm just planning out this scene here, and I'm working in Mega Paint. Mega Paint is a tool created by Jet or Monsters Go Boom from Megastyle, and this has been a godsend for me because there's certain things that XYZ Draw couldn't do that I needed a solution for. So yeah, I want to add a little pokey alley here. There's something that I can just do into the same scene. Don't want to make a separate scene for this. Just to put an object here that I want. Right, yeah, that would go like that. So yeah, I've been quite busy the last few years with teaching and stuff. I think since, well, the last 10 years it's been it's been a roller coaster ride of different things. Yeah, the last 10 years has been a roller coaster ride of different things, and a lot has happened. So 10 years ago, I met my partner Clara, and was helping her through her studies. Run about then, and we eventually moved in together. Flat sharing, as you do in London. It's always fun. And then eventually we rented our own place together. We still rent at the minute. You know, I've not had it big right now. I don't know if I ever will, but one can dream, right? So I want walls here. I think I'll just do walls. Be interesting to have a bit of depth. Yeah, just been trying to build up a freelance business, which I suppose has been successful. Turned it into an outsource company for art, which I've been doing since 2021. Just prior to the COVID years, I did some art lead work for a VR company, so doing like commercial VR projects and kind of art directed in a way. Yeah, just put together some stuff for clients, and that was moderately successful, but yeah, I didn't want to keep doing that, so I'm back to teaching a bit more. I was teaching between that, either side of it, so I'd teach a couple of days and work there a couple of days, then I gave up teaching, then I went back to teaching again. Taught at London South Bank University, as well as the University of the Arts in London, right next to each other, the two universities were, so I would teach in one place and then move across the road and do another shift at the other university, but basically just teaching art, different pipelines, using different tools, from Photoshop to rigging, animating, getting characters and objects into Unity and Unreal, and setting up your lighting and making different shots and stuff. So yeah, that was really my bread and butter for a while. I gave that up. I gave up teaching last year, mainly because I was so burnt out. We'd had a baby daughter in 2022. Plus I was running my outsource company, plus I was doing all my asset store freelance stuff. So basically I sell assets on the asset stores, and there was a pack that I made that was quite popular, but it was also demanding a lot of maintenance. So yeah, that was difficult, trying to maintain that stuff as well as teach and everything else. So yeah, I gave up teaching and focused on the art outsource stuff. Actually, also I slowed down the whole art asset creation for Unity Asset Store and stuff like that. I still have some stuff that sells, but it's not as good as just working for someone or doing something like a game. Yeah, let's do that there. I think I'll make that all look blue. What else have I been doing? So yeah, basically, oh yeah, since roundabout when my daughter was born, 2022, I started to buy Commodore 64s, as you do, like getting into the whole retro collecting stuff. Must have bought about 30 Commodores in total. I was getting them about 60 to 100 quid each, including like games and stuff. So it was quite good bundles, and I ended up got a lot of games. I've got about 700 games. Then I bought some Amigas and bought games for them as well. Got about 100 Amiga games in boxes and stuff. Then I got a CD32 and bought games for that. And then I've just been trying to find like things that I had in my childhood, like the retro collecting, like all the consoles that I had back then, and yeah, just collecting. I must have spent over 10 grand on stuff. I mean, it's like for me that was money that I'd saved up anyway, and I hadn't really done anything with it. And it was money from assets, stores, money that I'd sort of kept in a separate bank account, and just started to spend that, thinking, okay, it was a good investment sort of thing. So yeah, 2020, 2022, 23, 24 was all that Commodore crazy stuff. And I collected all of the Last Ninja games, as well as like IK Plus and that, and then Last Ninja Collection came out on Kickstarter, so that was quite nice to get that, and I've got that on the Steam Deck, and I've been playing through it, and it's quite nice to relive those old memories of that game. So yeah, just been playing through that, and working towards still keeping the art outsource company going, Polytricity, but we're also now branching into game development, and primarily Commodore games as well as like your usual indie type games. So yeah, it's all been kind of quite interesting. City Cat came about because I wanted to try and make what's that I was doing? I was trying to make an isometric diorama, a bit like I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to make that isometric sort of look. I think I was trying to make an isometric castle, like the one in Central Park in New York, because I'd seen this for the first time, this Belvedere Castle, I think it's called, and I thought that just looks so nice. Like, imagine making that in an isometric pixel art style. So I actually paid someone to make that for me, and then I turned that into an environment for City Cat, and then City Cat was sort of born. And City Cat is just basically a cat with amnesia, not knowing where it is or why it's there, why the cat exists. So he's trying to figure out his root purpose in life, and a bit like me, just trying to figure out what is it I should be doing, and all that stuff. So yeah, just a nice little story about a cat, and this isometric style, people do recognise it for a certain game that I have mentioned, so it just resonates with those fans, and I enjoy making that kind of style of artwork. Coincidentally, it just sort of comes natural to me because I've seen so many of these scenes that it's kind of rubbed off in a nice way. So yeah, that's been me for the last gosh, I forget when City Cat actually started. I think it must have been about 8 months ago now. Yeah, probably about that. And I'll just keep working on it. So I'm probably one of the only people that have adopted this isometric angle since Last Ninja days. I've not seen many games that have adopted it, so I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a game in that style again, but maybe with improved controls, whatever you think would be a benefit. So yeah. So yeah, that's me I'm blocking out some colour stuff here, trying to figure out how this will look. I want it to feel kind of nighttime-ish. I kind of want each diorama in this game to feel like it's in a slightly different time. Like when you go and it feels like the light changes almost depending on where you are, and there's no way to do dynamic lighting without any great memory expense on a Commodore 64. So I'm kind of trying to figure out workarounds. So yeah, here we are in 2026, and the world is polluted with AI stuff, as we see day in and day out. It's just AI hell right now, with every other post on social media being about some sort of AI thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been curious of AI stuff in the beginning, and me being an artist, I'll look at these things and think, how can I make use of this in my job? Is it going to be useful for me? Is our clients going to ask me to use certain tools? Should I know how to use these things if I need work? And over time, I've always had mixed opinions about it. I have experimented and sort of fell into a trap of being like, wow, I could do stuff and make stuff and do stuff and make stuff and whatever. And then my problem is I still have to make the thing. I can't just generate it and then be happy with the end result. So it's kind of like if a concept artist gave me their vision, I still have to then model it and everything else. So the AI just gives that, makes that even more problematic, because it generates so many ideas, some good, some bad, some ugly, but you can still tailor them to then make something, but you still have to make the final thing. Alright, AI started to creep into the whole 3D modeling thing as well, so you can like make 3D models and all that, but I'm not into it, I'm not feeling it, it's not for me. So doing Commodore stuff like this, the traditional way, is my vice. Feel free, anybody who wants to mess about with the AI stuff, but I really think it's bad for the world. Bad for ethics, bad for team building, bad for communication. It can be a good visual communication tool between people that just want something quick, but in doing all that, using there's bad things that we don't see, like data centers, all the RAM expense, how much it costs to run a data center in terms of the water that can be used for other things. It's a horrible industry that money gets poured into it, for these companies that are just milking people. Oh, you can now generate this. Oh, no, you can do that. Now you can do this. Now you can cut out this middleman, and you can do all this stuff, and you can, sure, there's a lot of people losing work because people are opting to use these shortcuts, and it's quite sad. So AI stuff needs to be heavily sort of vetted and new laws put about it, because it's not nice. It's not nice for the industry at all. And I just like doing these more traditional things. But yeah, companies are going to be using AI, and they're going to give us all this spiel about it saving money and stuff like that. So unfortunately, that's just the way the world goes, and it's not nice, but what can we do? But just go your own way, make your own things, and this AI stuff can go and do one. Thankfully, CityCat doesn't have any AI in it. We could call it dumb, right? It's a dumb game. It's got no artificial intelligence. It's a dumb game. Human dumb. I'd rather be human dumb than artificially intelligent. Wouldn't you? Just a dumb human. Dumb human using dumb old methods to get great results. Right. It looks fine in small screen, but when it's like this, it's a bit hard to see how noisy that actually is. Right, I'm going to hit the backspace. That'll fix my errors there. Doesn't look too bad though. Now I can kind of use that. Make this brick wall. So yeah, going back to the AI thing, which is going to dominate this year. People are going to be so tired of hearing about it. Some of my first experiments with AI was to generate an image, then run it through my backdrop design tool to get kind of converted image as it was. And I decided to let all these images be free on my itch page, and then somebody decided to grab all those images and throw them up in CSDB with my name attached to it, and I thought, oops, okay, now we're going to get backlash. And true enough, I did. So I had to sort of defend myself and say, look, I never wanted these images to be out in the wild like this on CSDB, even though they were corrected for Commodore 64 like previewing, and I did say anybody could use them. I just never expected them to go to a site like CSDB. I didn't really want it to be a thing there, because the context of it as well, the person that posted it never noticed or never stated in any case that they were AI images, or that that they were placed there without permission, sort of thing. Not that you need permission to post other people's work on another site, but it is kind of nice to say, can I post these on CSDB? It would be good to get them up there. Why they've just gone and done that has kind of thrown me to the lines. So I realised that that's not for me. I don't want the reputational damage from it. But that's not the only reason, right? I just want to do things correctly. So at least you learn from it, you move on. And I'm admitting, all the time that your own reasoning is as good as, if not better, than AI anyway. You don't need to ask AI advice. You don't need to ask AI to make an image that you can't, because if you need to edit something and AI's done it and you're struggling to get it to change something, you still need those core skills to be able to change it. You could argue it's getting better, but it's not good now, and for it to get better, it needs to be fed more. And in being fed more, you're basically helping that whole economy of AI slop and whatnot. So I've come to terms with it. I know where it can be useful, but I also think, generally speaking, it's not useful in the grand scheme of things, reputational wise and stuff like that. So it's up to you how you use it, and just be mindful of the kind of side effect that it kind of has. But this year is going to be fraught with AI stuff, Chinese robots. China obviously is a advocate of AI. They'll use it however they see fit, which I'm okay with other people how they want to use it, as long as they are respectful of other people's opinions about why they don't want to use it and stuff like that as well. Like, I don't want it to be a big divide between people. It's not fair that people should be allowed to experiment and make up their own minds. I think there was a video by Jezza Does Art, and basically one of his first videos was very not pro AI, but it wasn't anti AI, and then the second video was. So it took him a while to realise that some of his ideas back then changed. And I think everyone's opinion affects everyone everyone's mind. You know, other opinions affect your mind. Like, you can imagine if you were a company and you used AI too much and people were saying bad things about your company, you would identify the problem and you would see, okay, it's because we're using all this AI stuff that people don't like that. So now we need to, you know, change our ways. So you can see why it takes some time for people to come around to these things. And yeah, I look forward to some of these other bigger companies to realising that it's not all it's not all sunshine and roses when you can just generate an image and basically end up with pretty bad results. Sophia watches some of these cartoon things. One called Baby Zavi. I think it's a Korean thing, but it's all AI generated, and I'm looking at it thinking, that looks off, this looks weird, why is it moved like that? You know, like loads of things that I see. So I just say, look, you don't see the problem with this. She's only 3. I say, you don't see the problem with this, but I do, and I don't like you watching this. It's rubbish. And then she'll say, let's change it, and she listens. You know, she does listen to me, even though she's only 3.5. She gets my frame of mind. I'm looking at it and I make these really horrible facial expressions, like, what is this? But then I watch something like Frozen, or Despicable Me, or Frozen 2, or Tangled with her, and I'm just blown away by how much work goes into those things, and that's a good thing, right? How much work has gone into it is a good thing. But to these companies, they're like, oh, work equals money. Well, don't do something so high budget then. It's just so weird why companies would want to compete with the big guys with something as cheap as AI. It just baffles my mind. And in the near future, if and when AI gets as big as it wants to be, let's just say 2028, you'll just have AI slop everywhere. People will just be generating AI everything, and it will cause a big divide. And it'll be a shame, because it'll be the younger generation that starts using it, thinking it's the way, and it'll be the older generation that shuts it down. They say, you know, you can't be using that rubbish. We're not going to let you, and there'll be, you know, a lot of gatekeeping about it. I say gatekeeping in a good way here, because it's kind of needed. But it'll just be a big market saturator, and that's why, you know, platforms like Steam, they're quite right to put these clauses in place if you've used AI or not, because you can imagine how saturated the market is just going to get with games and stuff. If you can just start generating code and sound and art, and you can, and if you know how to put it all together, even if you don't, if there's an AI tool that knows how to put it together, but there you go, there's your gap in the market. That's what companies are going to start focusing on, is making a tool that you pay a subscription service for, that you get hooked on it, gives you good results. You know, you don't have enough tokens to finish your game, so you end up having to pay money to them. They're the ones making the money, not your game. Your game's not going to do great if it's in amongst all this other competition and it's AI slop. So people that have that notion of, oh, can make a quick buck from it, no. And people that have the notion of, we can save a lot of budget with it, save a lot of money with it, same problem. Right, still AI slop that's been put in there that cheapens your whole image. So that's why I've had to opt for certain things. Sure, if I'm doing some personal stuff, yeah, you know, anything goes. I might dabble here and there, but I'm not going to do anything commercially. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Right. I mean, could AI do this? Probably not. I don't think so. I think I've tried and it just like doesn't get it. It knows how to imitate, but it doesn't get all the rules and fundamentals, and it couldn't do a checker effect like that for its life. It would just see it as another color or something like that. It just wouldn't do it. I think I'll just copy that up. You know, like decision making, basic decision making, it would never do that, right? You know, on the fly. You would have to generate a whole new image. It wouldn't. There'd be like 6 different things to fix after AI, and you say fix that one thing, so it fixes it in a new image. Fix this thing now, and it reintroduces a new bug. So you're kind of like fighting with it. So it's good to know AI and how it works, because like you need to evaluate things. You need to understand in order to make a decision whether you'd want to use these things or not, and if the ethics side is the thing that helps your decision, that's your choice. If it's the practicality of it, that's also your choice. For me, it's a bit of both, bit of ethics, bit of practicality. Who's not getting work? What would I get from a real person? Would I be shameful enough to say that AI is giving me a better result than a real person? I'd hate to say that. I would just really hate to say that. I think people will always give me a better result, but sure, AI might impress 1 or 2 people. But when you're rolling the credits of your game at the end, whose name are you putting on? The concept art. Gemini, or Claude, or whatever they're called. ChatGPT. So yeah, we've got all that to look forward to. It's going to be a silly year of AI nonsense, and I still, even though I have clients who like using AI, I'm still not going to use it commercially, and I always take what I'm given it with a pinch of salt. So it's different if you're stubborn and if you've got traditions. It's the same goes for anything, like trying to change someone's ways when they're kind of locked into a traditional mindset. It's a harder battle to fight. Can't you just run it through AI? Sure. But then I still have to fix stuff. Can't I just fix the thing? Can't you just give me the right direction? Oh, I just ran it through AI and did this. Can you make it like that? Sure, if that's the communication tool that works for you, then let's go that route. But it's a shame not to have people to bounce off, ideas. If your team just becomes one person with their own ideas, then I don't think that's a healthy industry. Anyway, enough of the AI talk. Hope you're glad that I'm not talking about it anymore. So I've been doing Commodore graphics on and off for the last 7 years. More intently, more actively. But last time I really did Commodore graphics before that was like 1990 to 1996, where it was just like hobby stuff when I was a young teenager, just mucking about. I was right into public domain graphics tools, watching demo scene stuff, and all that good times, all those good things. Grey work here. Maybe I'll just do a solid grey. Yeah, makes it feel a wee bit more closed. I'll fix that in a minute. Let's just get the checker down in there. So yeah, I'm inspired by the works of Joe, Talent, Doc, who else? Robin Levy. Who else? There's lots. The Sarge, John Egg, Mirage. It's good when you can name drop like that. I wouldn't have been able to done that, do that a year ago, but yeah, I started to get inspired by these sceners, the Commodore 64 sceners, and it's nice. Put a little check a bit here. Alright, I'll make a little light source here somewhere. Right, cool. apologies for my camera being so dark. I think I can change that with the exposure. Oh, there we go. So yeah, something I wanted to put in was like a bin or something here. Some drums and bins. So I'll just design it in red oil drum. Use black for the rest of it. Love how easy it is to make an oil drum compared to making it in 3D, like the 3D model, where it's just like a few pixels and people get the idea, you know, in context. That's what I really enjoy about doing these kind of graphics. It's quite easy just to suggest a shape and your brain fills in the rest of it. Oil drum, done. Put a little bit there like that. Okay, this needs to be a bit away from the wall. Extend it a bit. Yeah, people often ask me why don't I just change the cat to a ninja? Because I don't want to make a game that's already, you know, excellent. I don't want to be responsible for anything that goes wrong. A game of that caliber, you can imagine that. I don't know if you remember the old quote from System 3's International Karate game, but it says the only accepted standard is perfection, and that's quite a what would you call it? It's a lot of pressure put on someone to make a really high quality product. To be fair, though, I think Archie McLean, who made International Karate, he was, you know, rest in peace, rest his soul, but he was a very smart guy, right? And you could say that it was his pursuit of perfection that caused that quote to come about, right? It wasn't that System 3 was in the hunt for perfection or anything like that. It was just the right team or the right people on that project at that time. And that goes back to that whole AI thing, where it's people that make these things happen. It's not AI that makes these things happen. So that's why I always think it's good to do things the right way, with the right people. Sure, yeah, come back to Last Ninja. I'd love to do a Last Ninja game with the right mindset. Right now my mindset is, let's make City Cat and see how it does, and if it does well, then depending on the position of a company like System 3 or System 3, depending on what kind of negotiations there could be around about that, then we'd have to see how it could go. But until then, nothing's been proposed based on City Cat by, you know, the powers that be. Like, can you just make this into, can you just add a ninja and make us Ninja 4, please? Nobody's asked for that in a formal way. Sure, the fans can ask it. Fans ask for all sorts of things. I'm a fan, but again, what a kind of reputation, what kind of standard you have to live up to. If you get it wrong, then it's not your brand that's getting affected, it's someone else's. So there's a lot of risk to mitigate with that. But CityCat will be our proving ground to show that we can make a cool Commodore game. It takes time. As you can see, this bitmap has taken, well, quite a while. Don't know where we're at in time. 45 minutes or so. It all takes time. It tries your patience on a daily basis. Oh my god. I never realised how much I'd feel drained by just turning the computer on in the morning. Have to do some work. Yep. Making a game shouldn't feel like work though, right? Should it? Should it? It should feel like work because you're trying to make something impressive. So it should feel like work. All of this has been done for free, right? I'm not making any money out of it. Okay, some people have donated, right? And I'll make the money later if it's successful. But all of this is kind of being done in advance of that. It's not just the money that matters here, it's the enjoyment though. And it's just me having the full control of it is the most important thing. Like, this is my design. If it was a Ninja thing, that wouldn't be my design anymore. And people would have too much of a say on it that I might not be ready for. Don't mind people's opinions and ideas now and again, but I'm not going to put every single idea in there that someone has at the same time, because that will slow things down. And the pace is good here. The pace is pretty good with this. Right, my little wheelie bin, industrial waste bin. Yeah, it looks kind of decent. So I guess my next test, I should really draw something in the foreground. I want this to look kind of like blocked by stuff, pallets and whatnot. You know, it's the typical things you get in a behind a shop or a pub, beer kegs and things. That is my makeshift pallet. I could also put a little barrel or two here. great thing about pixel art or Commodore 64 art is you can just like suggest stuff quite easily. There's a little shape here and there. Even just like this cast shadow on the wall here, just making that black. Your brain will make sense of it, right? You know, your brain will make sense that that's in shadow from this here. And you can see everything else, and then, you know, it still makes sense. So those little touches for me are important. What else to do? Grey and blue. So yeah, I don't want to show you what this is here, but yeah, a little back alley thing. Pardon me. Oh. Right, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to move this bit over here a bit more. yeah, that pretty much is it though. That's it for that scene. So look forward to seeing that in the game. It is in a secret place. There's a little bit of a puzzle that you'd need to do to reveal it. But yeah, that's really it for this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant away about various things, and yeah, look forward to the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.